This podcast shares stories inspired by real EMS events highlighting experiences of emergency medical service professionals. To respect patient privacy and comply with HIPAA regulations, all personal and medical information has been thoroughly redacted or replaced. Listener discretion is advised, and the content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The creators of this podcast assume no responsibility for any actions taken as a result of information or stories provided. Thank you for your understanding and for joining us. My name is Sunny.
And I'm Nathan.
And let's dive into today's story. 911, what's your emergency? The man on the other end is hysterically crying and rambling about a head injury. The dispatcher, accustomed to handling all kinds of calls, replied calmly, "Sir, please stay calm. I need you to describe your symptoms for me." Meanwhile, EMS responds with sirens blaring. They enter through the door. "What's going on today, sir?" the paramedic asked, his voice calm and reassuring. Right here on my head. I found them. It's growing on the back of my head. Oh my god, it's definitely a tumor. I know it. I can feel my brain being squeezed. Oh my god. The paramedic, maintaining his professional demeanor, asked, "Sir, can I take a look at it? Did you hit your head?" The man, still in distress, nodded, allowing the paramedic to examine the tumor, and said, "No, I didn't hit my head. I told you it's a tumor. I have cancer. Right? Oh my god, I have cancer. It's cancer."
Oh my gosh.
The paramedic, with a suppressed grin, leaned in for a closer look and then couldn't help but chuckle. "Sir, that's just a pimple. It happens to the best of us. You don't need an ambulance for this," he said, trying to ease the tension with a touch of humor.
Oh, that's gross. How big was it?
I mean, as big as a pimple can get, right?
I've seen some pretty big ones.
What was the biggest pimple you've ever seen?
Okay. This was when I was working in the ER, right?
Uh-huh.
We get a call for a guy in bed 2. He's like having pain in his lower butt area.
Yeah.
It was in his ass.
Yeah.
So we
his
go.
buttocks.
It was a buttocks.
His gluteus maximus.
Gluteus maximus.
Bootius. This man said Bootius maximus. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. I'm going to get on the scene and go, "Sir, can I take a good look at your Bootius maximus real quick?"
So he was complaining of 10 out of 10 pain.
Mm-hmm.
So then the doctor, and he goes and examines it, brings the boxers down. The biggest mass you've ever seen. This is a big guy, but it was this big.
Like the size of a grapefruit.
Yeah.
The pimple was.
The pimple. I think at this point it's a cyst.
That's not a pimple anymore.
But it was so gross. I saw the way he sliced it open. The blade went in really easily, like butter. And he pushed everything out. It was like mayonnaise.
Oh my god.
It smelled so bad.
Yeah, that's not a pimple. I don't know. I don't think that's a pimple. I don't even know when the classification of a pimple ends, but like that's not.
That's not a pimple?
I don't think that's a pimple anymore. No.
That's a
I
pimple.
don't think. No, that's not. That's crazy. Did the doctor say it was a pimple?
That's what he said. It was a
He
big
said
pimple.
it was a pimple.
He said big pimple.
No way. Oh my god, it was a big pimple. Oh
Like
wow.
It was it didn't have like a white head or anything, but it was like a ball.
Like a size. Yeah. Okay, I know what you mean.
It wasn't like inside. It was.
That's crazy. It was like on
Yeah.
on the surface of the skin. That's insane.
It was so bad.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, as we catch our breath from that very interesting 911 call and the giant grapefruit-sized pimple, it's time to shift gears. Welcome to Egg and Bean Podcast, where we take the extraordinary and turn it into a conversation. Inspired by our story today, we're diving into moments when people have jumped into conclusions.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So Nate, what are times that you've jumped to conclusions?
Ooh. Okay. This one happened recently. So I had just gotten to work from a long weekend or from a weekend. I try to go to my computer and my desk is different. Like my monitor, my computer, it's all different.
Right. Okay.
I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Did I get an upgrade?
Did I? Jumping to conclusions.
Oh, that's my story. So then, actually, yeah, I did jump to conclusions a lot. Because I was like, wow, did I get a new monitor? Do I need a new computer? So I try to log in. Nothing works.
Okay.
I try my login and password again. Nothing works. I tried on my boss's computer. Nothing works.
Okay.
At this point, I'm like, am I fired again?
trauma, the PTSD set in.
Dude, I started freaking out. I was spiraling. I was like, oh my God, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Even though I've been a good employee up to this point.
Right.
I started like doubting myself. Like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Like, where did I go wrong?
Yeah.
Anyways, I call my boss and I'm freaking out. I'm like, am I fired? And I explained to her the situation and she finds it weird too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because nobody
good.
told her anything. So then I had to wait for like 2 or 3 hours for the big boss to show up, like the general manager. And I show her and I explain to her what's happening. And she's like, Nathan, you're not fired. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, okay. That's like so relatable though.
I was freaking out for nothing. So apparently the IT guy came over the weekend and he upgraded the computer.
Oh, okay. So your first jumping to conclusion was correct.
Was correct.
Was correct.
Yeah, it was correct.
And then you spiraled.
I spiraled out of control.
That's funny because I feel like I do that too. It's not that I believe that people are trying to personally attack me all the time, but genuinely sometimes I feel like when I don't understand what's going on, like that's where I jump to, you know, like when just like small things, like when I was banned from TikTok, I was like, oh my God, like this is a personal attack, you know. I was like, this is a personal attack, like people are coming for me, just like small things, you know. My most common conclusion jumping scenario that I do is when people don't text me when they're home when I tell them to. Oh. Or if I know they're driving from, you know, a faraway place or it's late at night or whatever and I just don't hear from them. Oh my God, I'm like searching the news, pulse point, everything, you know, just like there's an accident somewhere. Yeah.
I'm the worst at letting people know that I got home.
Yeah, I know you're really bad at that.
Yeah,
you've induced some anxiety in me a few times, sir.
I get home straight to the restroom, me time. I forget.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I figured you were home safe. Yeah, like this one time, I was at home and my mom, we had plans to go somewhere. And she was like, oh, I'm going to run to the store like real quick or something. And I called, like it was around the time that she should have been home and she wasn't home. Oh, no. And so I like called her and she like didn't answer. And oh my God, I was like spiraling. I was like, oh my God, like she's like in an accident. She's dead. Like, oh my God. Like,
what's going to happen to me?
Yeah, like that's like my most common one. It happens on a weekly basis. So
you don't learn your lesson.
Like I should probably like mention this to my therapist. I started therapy, guys.
How was it?
It's good.
Yeah, is it helping?
I only had my second session, but it's a really great way. I chose Sundays because like it's like the end of the week, but like the start of the week, you know. So it's like a good refreshing moment. So yeah, I think these anxieties need to be addressed because it's like a weekly thing that this happens to me. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely jump to conclusions for no reason sometimes. It's always that they're dead. Like
it's always the worst.
No, genuinely, like it's like oh, there's probably like a million reasons why like they're not responding or whatever, but no, it's because they're dead.
But like, why is that our brain goes straight to like the negatives, like for everything?
I feel like it varies per person because I know people who like don't relate to that. You know,
just like a trauma response.
I don't know. Like I feel
just messed up.
I feel like I just like think that that's like the only reason, and I don't. You know what it is? I rather think that they're, you know, dead and then be relieved that they're not than think that everything's fine and then find out that they're not.
So you're kind of just preparing yourself for the worst?
Almost is like a really screwed up way of like preparing myself. Yeah. Okay. So I think, I mean, and I think also maybe trauma is like for you, right? Like you were like, oh my God, like I'm fired again. Like it probably was a traumatizing experience and like you were genuinely, I think it's just like stuff you're afraid of, and it's a combination because I'm definitely, you know, who isn't afraid of their loved ones like passing away, you know, like that's definitely scary. So I think whatever it is that you're terrified of, like you're I don't know, your brain might just go there to I don't know, you know, it's a defense mechanism, maybe just a trauma response.
I've never thought about it.
Yeah. It's interesting, huh?
It is.
Yeah. Do you like think that there's like specific scenarios that you usually jump to these conclusions more than others?
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
I was unhinged, and I would jump to a lot of conclusions, honestly, with relationships.
Ooh, yeah, that's common. So, okay, so what's this time that you did that?
It was either that I would jump to conclusions that
they were talking to
somebody else, or they didn't like me, or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that I say it out loud, I think it's a lot of the insecurities.
Yeah, that's insecurities. Yep. I think, like, I think it's also kind of similar to that. Like, maybe you're like jumping to that conclusion because you're also like preparing yourself for that to happen.
If it actually does happen, you're like,
I knew that. Yeah, like I knew that was gonna happen. Then being like caught off guard, because I think that's pretty common, right? Like with relationships, to jump to conclusions. Oh, they're cheating on me, or they're lying to me, or whatever, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a reasoning. There's probably an evolutionary reasoning for this, unfortunately.
But I've gotten better at it. Like,
yeah.
I've like consciously stopped myself. I'm like, that's not happening. Like, you should know by now that's not true.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's there's actually a story that someone sent in that apparently this person had an ex, right? And they had a friend, right? And this friend's ex got a job at a specific gentleman's club.
What's that?
A strip club.
Oh, a strip club. Why did you just say that?
A strip club. And the ex became one because her boyfriend was constantly going to Buffalo Wild Wings with his friends, and she thought that Buffalo Wild Wings was a code name for strip club.
Ooh.
So she became a stripper to catch her boyfriend cheating, and he wasn't.
Ain't no way.
Well, not cheating, but like going to a strip club. Like it's some people don't think that's cheating, but that depends on your own relationship boundaries.
Logic.
Yeah, like jumping to that, like. You gotta go through like whole job interview and everything. Like this isn't just me sitting here and being like
interview process for a stripper.
I have no idea. That's a very valid question that I never.
So you have any experience?
Oh my God, I wonder what it. I never thought about that.
It's probably like a performance type thing.
Like, do they even have resumes? I'm sure they do. No.
I don't know. I've never thought about this.
I hope this isn't coming off like offensive. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like I don't understand.
Make that money.
Because like with like certain jobs, there's different types of interviews. Like for us, we have interviews, and like some companies will do like a quick like EMS skill test, or just scenario based questions. But then you won't have that for maybe like a waitress job, for example. Like. Well, I guess maybe scenarios of like, oh, how would you handle like a customer being rude, or
how would you handle $200 being thrown at you?
Right. Yeah.
Situational.
I know. Oh my God. Well, at least we weren't, thinking that. Well, I mean, I don't know how fair that is. Do you think that if you had a like huge bump on your head, like you would call 911, thinking that it was a tumor? Like, do you even have...
No, because to get to that point,
right?
It had to have grown.
Grown, yeah.
Like, to get to that point, you had so much time to go get it checked out.
Yeah. Do you have, like, hypochondriac tendencies ever? Or are you, like, kind of the opposite? You're like, oh, I'm fine. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
What's hypochondriac?
It's when you are chronically... thinking that something's wrong with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like seeking healthcare and everything, yeah.
Like that.
Like the WebMD. Yeah, the WebMD. The WebMD syndrome, basically, yeah. I'm sure there's a more, professional...
You have to dumb it down for me.
Yeah, like formal, definition of hypochondriac. It's genuinely a disorder, though. Like you can be diagnosed. But so that's why I said hypochondriac tendencies.
No, I do, because I read up like on new diseases and stuff. I'm like, oh, I might have that.
Yeah. it's like one of the symptoms is massive internal bleeding. Yeah, I can feel it.
Yeah, it's in there. I feel the blood.
I feel like it depends. Like I feel like sometimes I lean more towards like, oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I'm not. And then there are times where it's like I'm completely fine, and like I will freak out because I'm like, oh, I have like Ebola or something. I think it doesn't help that I'm a public health major and I study a lot of diseases, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I probably have that, or I somehow ingested mold and now I have like toxic poisoning or something. I don't know.
Doesn't that like happen a lot?
It does
though,
happen.
with,
Actually,
like,
mold is pretty
workers?
common. Yeah.
Oh, I was on a different topic.
Oh. Wait. What were you saying? Hypochondriac tendencies? Oh yeah, that's pretty common. I think most people, with the access to the internet, a lot of people will like search up things. And so when you search up your symptoms, like you'll get a wide range. You'll get something like, oh, you have the
Very
flu.
broad, right?
Yeah, like it'll tell you, oh, you have either the flu or you have
death.
cancer. Yeah, or death.
Cancer.
Or you should go because you're gonna die in 2 minutes, right? So it's like, it's hard to tell. I think it's partially due to the internet. I'm sure back then, back in the days, it really wasn't as like prominent of a problem. But yeah. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. And yeah. I think the most common hypochondriac tendency I have is thinking I'm pregnant. And it's like, I didn't even I didn't even like have sex. Like, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. There's like, I know it, you know, like my period's late for like a week. I mean, not a week, like a day or two. Or even a week, you know, like that's pretty normal.
A week?
Well, a week is pretty normal, honestly. Like,
I have no idea.
I think, at least for me, it depends on the girl, but I have very varying, cycles. Mm-hmm. So a week isn't that, uncommon for me, but it's like either a day or to a week late. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, It literally makes no sense. And even though I know there's no way I could possibly be pregnant, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. I feel like a lot of girls can probably relate to that one. I don't know. A little bit.
I can't relate.
No. Yeah, I know you can't relate. I think it's I don't know, it's definitely a fear like of mine, and it's like if I'm not like I'll be getting like my normal like period symptoms. Speaking of period symptoms, like pimples, like hormonal pimples during your cycle. Oh my God, just absolutely awful.
I could see it.
Yeah, stop looking at it. I have a hormonal pimple on like my chin that I covered up with a pimple sticker. And I was like, before we started recording, I was like,
Can you tell?
Now everyone's gonna be looking. It's really on brand for the topic today. Okay, so it's not as massive as
It's the thumbnail.
It's the thumbnail. It's gonna be zoomed into my chin. But yeah. Anyways, that's like my most common one. Do you have one for you, like cancer or?
Ooh, recently? This is recent because at work I don't drink as much water as I should.
Right.
I forget. I get busy.
Yeah.
And I've been having like some pain over here. It's like really dull, like minimal. Yeah. But when it happens, I'm like,
kidney infection. Yeah.
Kidney stones.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pee out a stone.
Yeah.
That's my fear.
Dude, kidney stones are brutal. Like I've seen people have those and they're just like crying, and I'm like, dude, I cannot relate, but I feel for you. Like,
oh man.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to pass a stone. That's kind of like pregnancy, right?
Oh my God, no. There is nothing. Okay, that's the thing is like OB calls, like pregnancy calls at work I'm terrified of them because it's like I personally haven't had a call where I've had to help deliver a baby, but I am terrified because that's like watching I don't even know if I want kids, but it's like seeing what's going to happen to me if I have kids, and it really terrifies me.
What are you talking about? It's beautiful. So
it is
life coming into the world.
It's just I don't know, beautiful. Like I mean the sentiment of it is beautiful, but like the actual process of it is not beautiful to me.
It's not. I've seen videos in class.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't know about that.
The first time I saw a birthing video, I was like, I did not know that they stretched that
far. Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and then like they just kind of like pull the baby out, but it's like guiding the baby out, and it just looks like I don't want to think about it. If y'all have never seen a video of a child being born, God bless you. Like, you are blessed. Like, I mean, eventually you should, especially if you do want to have children. I would suggest you understand.
See what you're gonna go through.
Yeah. But it's a lot to just like see that. I think the first time I saw it was in 7th, 8th grade.
What?
Yeah. In health class. It was very...
You saw a birthing video?
Yes. In class.
Oh my God.
I know. Yeah. And then I thought it would like, go, the fear would go away over time, but no. Like, no.
You got scarred.
I probably got scarred because I was a little bit too young for that.
That's why you don't want to have kids.
Yeah. But my mom always tells me, she goes, because I tell her about like my fear of giving birth, and she said that you forget the pain. Like, and I think it's a biological thing too, actually, to like forget it, because like she says that she doesn't remember really, like she like remembers kind of like the events, but she doesn't like necessarily remember it. She wasn't like put under or anything.
It's
like
probably
she was
like all the high adrenaline and like,
yeah,
your body's probably meant to do that so that you're willing to go through that again.
Exactly. And then you know how people block out like traumatic events? Like I feel like it's low-key partially the same like foundational like idea.
Probably.
So yeah, I don't know. They're yeah.
My head was too big at birth.
How heavy were you?
I think it was like 8.5 pounds.
Okay, that's not. I've know people who were like 10, 11
Dang.
pounds. Yeah.
But I had a big head, so I didn't fit through that canal. So they had to do a C-section.
You were a C-section?
I see. Your head.
Your head was the size of the pimple.
No, it was the same size. I grew into it.
Oh my God. Have you had like what? Okay, what is the biggest pimple you've ever had? Like what size?
Oh, that's so gross. Okay, so this was when I was in high school in water polo.
Okay.
I had this weird pimple underneath my armpit.
Oh no.
And it was huge. It was like a quarter.
A quarter?
It was a quarter.
No way.
Dude, yeah, it was
that's
the grossest
painful.
thing
How
ever.
did you like pop it?
I did.
And it hurt, no?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was like,
oh.
Like
it squirted out.
Yeah, no, like pressurized.
Like a pressure hose.
It was so gross.
Oh my God, that's the biggest one.
Yeah,
Did you?
and it was,
Go ahead.
And it was like pus and blood.
Yeah.
It was so gross.
Did you struggle with like acne, like on your face?
No. So my face, I never struggled with acne.
Blessed.
But yeah, I have backne.
Oh.
I have so much acne on my back.
I heard there's like specific like face washes or body washes that you can use for that.
Really?
Yeah. So like after you shower, especially with girls, we use like conditioners and products, and like as we wash it off, it kind of like lingers on our back. So like girls have like, commonly reported them experiencing acne because of it. But
because of the hair product?
Yeah, so if like obviously you could start off with just even washing, after you wash your hair, like wash your back. So you wash off like just like the oily like, product.
Yeah.
And then there's products that are just like meant for, I think it's something peroxide. But it's basically like a face wash for acne, but if you wash your back with it, it's said to help. And I've actually like suggested this to my brother, and he uses it. And it helps.
He has acne also?
Not necessarily. He kind of just has acne in general, but I've been helping him with his skin. Yeah.
That's
but
good.
you have nice skin. You don't have like, like history
really
of
don't.
acne. Yeah.
The only thing, I have a lot of blackheads on my nose.
I think you just like need to clean that out, Yeah.
That's a me issue, huh?
Yeah. What is your current skincare routine?
Ooh. So I wash my face in the shower, even though people say not to.
Right.
I wash it in the shower, and then once I get out, I put like some moisturizer. Everything that I use for my face, it's my mom's.
I mean, dude, skincare is expensive, so honestly, like,
and she got the good stuff.
She got
it's called Estee Lauder.
Yeah, Estee Lauder.
Estee Lauder.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. I have a serum from Estee Lauder that my mom gave me as well.
Is it like the drop
The
serum?
drop one.
That's the one that
I use. Hey, high five.
So I use the drop serum. That's the first thing I use to like hydrate my skin and stuff. And then I used the moisturizer. After that, I use like the eye cream.
Oh, you even got on the eye cream?
Yeah, like the eye cream on the outside, but it's only at night, because if you wear it in the day, it'll burn your skin or something.
Yeah. The vitamin C. The vitamin C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, I put on, if it's in the daytime, I put sunscreen.
Right.
And then I'm good to go.
I'm like so happy that you're on this skincare routine grind because I think it's better these days, but I do remember, you know, when I was in high school or, you know, during that era before TikTok really, guys were just against skincare because they thought that it was for girls, right? Quote unquote. At least in my experience, right? Because I'd be like, oh, like you should use moisturizer, or you should use sunscreen, and they'd be like, no, like that's for girls. You know?
I think I was blessed because my mom, growing up, she would tell me, she's like, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you just got to make sure you look good. I'm like, you're right.
Well, because then that's good that your mom's, you know, OG for that, the GOAT, because, you know, she taught you that that's not a, you know, it's not a gender thing. Yeah, thing. It's just taking care of yourself. Yeah, hygiene. Like, you don't want to look all wrinkly at 40 years old, right? So, do you put on sunscreen?
I do.
Okay, in the mornings, right?
I do.
Yeah.
And there's sunscreen that I only use, and we buy it in Mexico.
What's it called?
I don't know.
You gotta put these people on the sunscreen
next time.
Yes, you gotta like drop it. You gotta drop the link.
No, well, they sell it here too, but it's like $40.
Oh my god, dude! Next time you go to Mexico, just buy a bunch of those. Come back, sell it. You'll be rich.
You get them for $15.
Exactly.
Over there.
Yeah. Exactly. Mine's pretty similar.
Yeah, your skin is flawless.
Well, not right now. Look at it's hormonal.
Oh, I forgot. It's because your mic is covering it.
My mic is covering my pimples from Nate right now. But I don't really get pimples like here. Like, you know, it's just like when I have, you know, hormonal changes due to the time of the month, I get them down here, just like it's right every here. Month? It depends on like how stressed I am that month and like how bad my hormones.
So every month.
Yeah, it's like every other month I'll get like one like down here unless I'm like really taking care of it. Yeah, but I try not to like, you know, damage my skin by like using harsh cleansers.
Okay.
Because my, like, you know, my skin's not like that dirty, so like I'm not like exfoliating and just like ruining my like, you know, skin hydration barriers or whatever. So I'll usually just like gentle cleanser with water. I know people like CeraVe or whatever. And then I go with like the serum as well. My mom gives me toner, so actually I put the toner first.
What's toner?
You know, good question. I think it's like just basically a liquid that has a bunch of like nutrients for the skin, and the reason why you put it, it's like it's more watery. So like, I think the whole point of it is that like when you first wash your face, like you put the toner on because it absorbs. And I think there's a certain like step by step process of putting on your products based off of the consistency of it. So like the more watery the first, and then like as it gets more like viscous and like thick, then that comes last
to seal in.
Yeah.
Moisture.
So the toner first, then the serum. And then my moisturizer, I use Soonjung, the Hydro Barrier one. That one's so good. I love it so much. It's a Korean one. And then I will, and then sometimes I'll even put like a layer of Aquaphor over it. Oh. Like certain areas that are extra dry or whatever, like during the winter. Mm-hmm. But mine's pretty simple. I don't do anything like too crazy. Just to like, you know, maintain. I could, you know, use certain products, but I like to use the same few and just not, you know, use a bunch of random things. Yeah. But I'm really glad that I actually do my skincare, because even though I'm a girl, but when I was growing up, my mom would tell me the same thing. She'd be like, oh, you should put this on your skin. And I'd be like, no, it's sticky, because I hated the sticky consistency.
Me too.
Right?
I hated sunscreen, lotion, all of that stuff.
And then you get older and you're like, yeah.
I kind of need it.
Yeah, you're like, low key is worth the stickiness, because
Once your hands start sounding like this.
Oh, yeah, yours are loud. Mine doesn't sound like that. Nate's rubbing his skin together.
It's because I have thick skin and psoriasis.
Oh, you have psoriasis?
And eczema.
Oh, my God. Okay, so I know people who struggle with eczema, they have to use, like, steroid cream.
Yeah.
Do you use that?
I got one from the doctor.
Right, and you didn't
But I didn't use it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen, like, videos of people getting off of it.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Withdrawals.
And it's scary.
Yeah, I've seen,
I didn't know your skin can go through withdrawals
it's
like
really
that.
crazy, yeah. So, I mean, I do understand.
Like, I don't want to look like Freddy Krueger for 2 weeks or 2 months.
Yeah, that's and then they peel. I've seen like extreme cases of it where like it's like their whole body.
It looks like a burn victim.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's like a, like a 3rd-degree burn.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be like a chemical burn?
No, a 3rd degree is the worst burn, but yeah, it's probably not as bad as a 3rd-degree burn. But it looks pretty scary.
It's just like
and it looks painful.
That's like scabbing over.
Yeah, basically. Do you like do anything for your eczema? Like, do you put Aquaphor or like just like moisturize it?
Just moisturize a lot. The one that I really, really like, I think it's CeraVe.
CeraVe?
CeraVe? Is that it?
I think it's CeraVe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's CeraVe.
I like that one. That was really good.
Well, everybody take care of your skin. It's not just a girl thing. I promise you, like 40, 50-year-old yourself will, thank you yourself. That was not English.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. You'll thank yourself in the future, basically. Yeah. And I think that's it for today. Yeah. On that note, we're going to end today's episode. Thank you for joining us on our conversation today of pimples and jumping to conclusions. An odd match, but we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you did, please like and subscribe to see more of our content. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put them down below and we will do our best to get to them. Thanks for watching Egg and Bean Podcast.